So people have been begging me to make this video, so let's do it pretty quick. Let's start with Scout. I'll put him at noob friendly, but much stronger when you're good at it. Scout is not exactly a particularly hard class to like start off as, because the mid shot damage is actually stupid. But at the same time, you are kind of made of paper, and if you don't know what you're actually playing, or at least how to play the game, you're gonna like die over and over. So yeah, I think middle would be best. Engineer would be noob friendly, but much stronger when you're good at it, considering you can probably do pretty well as an engineer no matter where you place your stuff if you place it with some educated consideration. But if you're like good at engineer, you can be an absolute monster for the enemy team. If you know your spots, you basically become top frag, top score of your team easily. I've never seen a bad engineer main, is all I want to say. But I've also never seen like a free-to-play engineer that just started the game that wasn't at least somewhat useful. Demo man is probably can be good friendly if not for a dumb mechanic. That would be sticky spamming. Demo man is just good. Like it's a good class, but sticky spamming is like the most noob thing you can do, and like I have nothing against it, but you don't really require much skill to hold right click while pressing left click. You can probably get pretty far with it, so there's that. But obviously if you become like a pipe god or actually know how to use your stickies properly, you are undefeated. Demoman might be the strongest class in the entire game for a pro. Heavy would probably be most noob friendly, because even pro heavies just know like 4 or 5 mechanics to make them better, which is aiming, like pre-cornering, revving and stuff. Uh that's about it really. There's no much like I wouldn't say skill, but there's not many like different mechanics for heavy. So you really need to rely on mechanical skill and like maybe 4 or 5 actual mechanics that you need to learn. That's about it, some heavy tricks and stuff. And probably have a good headset considering you're a spy magnet. Spy can be noob friendly if not for a dumb mechanic, because I wouldn't call the mechanic necessarily dumb, but even a bad spy can get a few backstabs and be at least somewhat useful for their team, so I'll put it there. Soldier would also be noob friendly but requires some video game skill, because you probably want to predict your enemies, but shooting at their feet also works. Obviously, Soldier is a very good step to start on, because you start pretty weak if you don't know what you're doing, but once you're a good soldier, you are probably the second strongest class in the entire game, just behind the Omen. Sniper can be noob friendly if not for the mechanic, considering Sniper is just purely aim, but also you need to. It's the same argument for heavy. There aren't many mechanics, but you really have to rely on your own mechanical skill, so I'll put it there. Pyro is noob, probably around there. There. Pyro doesn't require much skill to play, at least not beginner Pyro, but once you actually get good at Pyro, you can become a menace and probably just disable like 2 out of the 9 classes, even 3 out of 4 even. Jesus, you can disable pretty much every class but Engineer and Sniper. Pyro just becomes scary if you're actually good at it. And least noob friendly is the Medic. You can be a like free-to-play medic and do some help for your team, but there are so many things you need to learn, like the Crusader's crossbow and like the Obersaw, and to know which medigun to use at what point, that this class is like actually menacing for newer players. Obviously, still try to get good at it, because you always want to like main something and have like a secondary main as medic, which is what I do. Because obviously, if you don't have a medic in your team, you're pretty much screwed. That's about it. I'm not gonna ramble about it any longer.